Lots of Bots here, and today I am going to teach you about butterfly patterns and how to trade them with binary options. As you can see, this is my favorite pattern, and I'm sure you can see why. And all you have to be able to do is count up to 5. If you can do that, there's a good chance that you can make money trading these patterns and see them for what they are. As you can see, I added my own flair to it to keep your attention because it certainly keeps my attention. Now, as you look at this pattern right here, I want you to notice right away that it looks like a W, right? Well, that's number one for us to note is that the pattern will either look like a W or conversely, it will look like an M, as you see right here. Now, these patterns have 5 points to them. And they also have different names. They call them butterflies, or bats, or crabs, Gartleys, shark patterns. There's different names, and they basically look like M's and W's to make it simple for you. And they have 5 points. 2 triangles. Each triangle with 3 points, right? So where the intersection meets on 3, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so that right there is what you're looking for in the pattern. Now you're looking for, once you have structure, a reversal back to point 4. That is very key. It has to reverse after it creates a structure back to point 4, or some percentage of the range. And I'll show you how that works. Now there's something called self-similarity that you will notice with patterns, and that basically means you can get them in a very small time frame of a few minutes all the way out to a few weeks and have the same geometry and relative scale as a few minutes all the way out to a few weeks of the same type of pattern. And that's because we have to view it fractally, right? So we're looking for structure, and it doesn't matter so much about if it's a few minutes or a few days. We take note of it visually, and because you're going to see that I might trade it on a 5, I might trade it on a 30, I might just trade it on a tick chart or a minute chart, like right here. This was a full pattern off of a 1 minute chart, and that span that you see right there is under 15 minutes between point 1 and 5 all the way to the target, and it's a very short period of time. And once you have the dimensions on there, you can trade them equally proportionally for the time that you have there. So each one of these moves between 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes about, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 was the drop between 4 and 5. It dropped about 4 minutes to create this end point right here, and then bounced up 1, 2, 3 minutes from there. So it's proportional to the range and price that you see right here, and you'll see that over and over again in these patterns. Like, for example, here on the GU trade that I did this live real time in the chat room, and what we had here is the GU. It went over and created the 5 waves. You got the 2 triangles, right? The intersection at point 3. And then the extreme move, which is what you're going to look for. You're going to look for an extreme, a divergence, or a retest of the highs. And right here we had a retest of the highs on this trade before it collapsed back down. And as you see, you had structure, you had the 5 points, and it drops back and then retests up there. That's where I entered from, and then it went down according to my algos for a period from 24 to 38 after, and worked out to be a really nice pattern. Now this traded right down till 38 after, as I calculated, and it wound up being perfect. It went right to point 4, as you see right there, by the exact time, by 38 after. So you can't get better than that. Now what you're going to see on these patterns, and I want you to note this, is called geometricity. Okay, geometricity is geometric shaping proportional to time and price of the energy of the moves, and that's going to tie into the self-similarity I was telling you about and such. But if you look at these moves right here between 1 and 4, the structure is similar in nature, and you can calculate the move in time just by using simple geometry, right? Now I go even deeper into it, and I calculate it on a curve in price and time with my algos, statistically, quantitatively, going through its past history. And that's more complicated. You don't need that. All you need to do is pay attention to the price action. Note the extremes. You're going to see extremes at 0.5. You're going to see divergences at 0.5. You're going to see something that's going to stand out to tell you that it's going to reverse. And that's what you have to pay attention to. The other thing is, as you see in this pattern, is a percentage of the range. Now between 0.1 and 4, what happens the majority of the time is it will go 150 to 200%, okay? From that 0.1 to 4 up to 0.5. So between 0.1 and 4, it'll be 150 to 200% of the range. Now, why does the market go over and on this pattern go to 50 to 200% of between that 1 and 4? Because that's the way computers calculate. Okay, everything that you have is a sigma of 200, which is sigma stands for a place value in the Greek alphabet of 200. Sigma, snake, hiss. Okay, now the snake is the symbol of infinity. If you cut infinity in half, right, it looks like a sideways 8. If you cut infinity in half, what do you have? You have an M or a W. Sigma is 200 place values, right? So that's why you see this pattern in this, because this is the way computers calculate in a Mandelbrot / Gaussian way set, because of the fact that's the way computers do that. They're not able to really compute the curves of price. They try to in a square way because they're binary, but they don't understand 3. And that's where you, as a living being using your brain, have an advantage over the computers. And I'll get more into that with the Binary Options Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which will explain the math behind everything. Okay, your universe, music, why patterns exist, everything. And that way you'll have an understanding mathematically, without knowing the exact calculations, of why things exist the way they do and what happens from the smallest to the largest. And your brain might hurt a little bit, but you'll be the better for it. Or your brain will melt and drip out of your ear. That's also a possibility. But here, I'm going to show you another pattern of how you can look at it squarely here. Here's the USD CAD, and I marked the spots of between 1 and 2 on the first square is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over 5 candles. Then I mark the next square of price between 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 again, right? And then let's go out from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. I just marked the breakout value, but still it's the same, and it's repeating. Now I could draw that as a triangle if you like, but it's the same thing. And here, let's look at it. Now we see that it goes over and is dropping back down to 0.4, which is the blue line that I dotted below, and bam, it goes right to it. And what happens majority of the time is that it will, after it hits 0.4, it will generally go back up to 0.5 and retest up the high from there, somewhere at or below that price. That's what I'm going to, show you again and again and again and again and again. So there's your triangles. The first triangle, 1, 2, 3, right? And here comes your second triangle. And there we go, from there to there. And then you have 3, 4, 5, and then it drops back down to 0.4 right there. End of story. Rinse and repeat over and over again. Okay, now I'm going to do a brief intermission here and tell you about an upcoming video, show you a clip of Options Domination, the Union of Prosperity, and the Winnings Women Network. It's pretty funny. So here you go.
It all started with Michael Freeman. Yes, I saw one of his videos and he sent me an email. And he's like, "Hey baby, how you doing?" I'm like, "How you doing?" I can't find my underwear, and I don't know where I am really. I think he drugged me. He pulled a Bill Cosby. He pulled a Bill Cosby on me. Oh man, I've been sick.
Oh my God, Michael Freeman sexually abused her. Well, that'll be a funny video. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to show you this pattern again. This is on an hour chart, self-similarity. This is just happens to be on a bigger time frame. Up to makes a primary move upward to 1, pulls back to 2, goes back up to 3, pulls back to 4, then goes all the way up to 5 to make the final move. Which that one wound up being about 172%, I believe, and then drops back down to 0.4. Okay, there you go, over and over. Now there's all kinds of statistics that go with this because, quantitatively in time, you're not going to have this work out every time. It's just not going to happen. There's nothing linear. Just because you get a pattern doesn't mean it's going to always do the same thing. And that's just, you're going to just get a certain number of failures. It'll probably be less than 1 out of 3. But you will get failures. And there's all kinds of math behind this to time it. And it's not really that easy. But it will, by recognizing what you're seeing, it will teach you to trade the price better and to calculate better and make you a better trader by recognizing these patterns, because you're going to be anticipating something to happen. And you can do it harmonically, but nothing is linear in the way the universe works. It doesn't work that way. Okay, everything is non-linear in complex systems, because if they were linear, it would be perfect. Everything would have produced an outcome from A plus B equals C, right? But you don't get that. You get A plus B equals D over F sometimes. So you get different, outcomes, and everything's based on probability, not certainty. Look for certainty, and you go on about, oh, the indicator repaints. That's all crap. Everything is a probability. You're trying to put the odds in your favor. Now let's take a look at this pattern. You have 2 patterns here. You have the back end pattern, which is the bigger one. Your major pattern, which is really what I was focused on in this trade. I was only looking to take buys from that blue line to that blue line in the bottom, and for it to go up from that vertical blue line right here all the way until the time that I had right over here to the red lines on the hour. And that was a beautiful trade. I percentage-wise did very well on multiple expiries on this, and my whole time I was looking for it to reverse from this area down here. Let me draw the little, there we go. So I've got the little blue triangle that you see, that's where I entered, and it spikes all the way back up to 0.5 to retest that high after going to 0.4 and under and creating that little butterfly down there. So you see it? You see how it repeats itself over and over again? So this is Lots of Bots. I hope you enjoyed this and you found it educational, and I'll have more. Other than that, I'm going to leave you with this, which I think you'll really enjoy. Oh yeah, because I enjoyed this. This is, remember to always get lots of exercise as a trader. And and yeah, So anyway, this is Lots of Bots. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hoping that you have plenty of exercise. I just did. And hoping I get reincarnated as a ball in the future. So until next time, bye!